we're going to look at how to approve and administer an adult member's pre-provisional or provisional role as they progress through the appointments process. Although we're going to show it all in one go, in reality there will be lapses in time between completing different stages, as you'll need to wait for tasks to be completed locally by different people. For example, the Appointments Advisory Committee approval being received or references returned. The timescales for these events taking place are the same as they were pre-Compass, and further guidance can be found on member resources. For many appointments, in order to make the role full, the Getting Started training needs to be invalidated. This can only be done by relevant training roles, so you will need to liaise with them to ensure that this training has been completed and validated locally. Before you start, make sure that you've selected the right role for the task from the My Role drop-down at the top of the page. First, you need to go to the record of the member whose role you want to edit. To do this, you can search using their membership number, or if you don't know this, use the basic or advanced search options. More guidance on searching can be found on the Compass support site. Once you reach the member's record, click on the Roles tab. Then, click Edit next to the role that you want to administer. The Edit Member Role pop-up box will appear. The menu down the left-hand side lists the pages which are available to edit. If you know which specific page you want to go to, click on its name. If not, you can work through each page in turn by clicking Next, which is what we're going to do now. The first page shows you the new role details. On here, you can edit the start date of the role and input an end date if the role is historical. If the role has a variant, such as the specific section for a section leader, you will be able to use the Role Variant drop-down menu to change this. You won't be able to change any of the other details, such as the role itself or the location. If these are incorrect, you will need to cancel the role by entering an end date into the box and adding the correct role before you can proceed. When you're happy, click Next. This will take you to the approval page. Here, you can assign a line manager for the role. The box should automatically show the local line manager. However, if there are multiple options, choose who to assign from the drop-down box. Make sure that both the line manager and the member you are appointing are aware of this ahead of time. If this box is greyed out, then there are currently no line manager recorded on Compass for this role. This will update automatically once a line manager for the role is added to someone's record on Compass. You can also add a date for when the appointment review is due. The next section on this page is Approval. Here, you can see and edit information such as the status of references. Use the drop-down menu for each approval option to update the status, once this has been received from the relevant person. The information in this section will vary, depending on the role that you are editing. If a disclosure is required for the role and the member already has a valid disclosure, the date it was issued will be displayed. If the member does not yet have a disclosure, or it is expired, it will say No Disclosure. If you need guidance on how to request a disclosure, this can be found on the Compass support site. Please note, this covers England and Wales only. Those in Scotland, Northern Ireland or overseas should contact their country headquarters for more information on processes locally, or contact the UK HQ vetting team via the Info Centre. If the role requires Getting Started training to be completed to become full, there will be a third section called Getting Started Modules. This will show a list of the relevant modules for the role at the bottom of the page. These boxes can only be updated by those who hold a relevant training role. They can do this by validating the modules on this page or directly on the training page of the member's record. Click the Next button to move to the next page. The References page will open. This is split into two sections, one for each reference, and the process is the same for each. Enter the relevant information into each of the boxes, including the name, email address, and respond by date for each referee. The respond by date is the deadline you've requested the reference be returned by. If you prefer, or if the referee doesn't have an email address, you can still use the paper reference form. You can order these from Scout shops or download them from member resources. You will then need to update the outcome on Compass. Once you've entered this information, you will be able to send an email to request each reference. If you want to see an example of a reference request before you send it, Click the See Example of Reference button under the Email Options heading. When you're happy and want to send the reference, click the Send Email Requesting Reference button. Once you've clicked this, a message will appear in its place, telling you that you need to save before your reference email will be sent. Click Save. You will be returned to the Members' Roles page. Once a satisfactory reference has been returned by the referee via the agreed method, return to the member's record and click Edit once again next to the relevant role. Then return to the referees page. Place the date you received each reference back into the Response Received box, typing directly or using the date selector. Then go back to the Approvals page and change the References field to References Satisfactory. Check the details are correct, and when you're ready to save the edits you've made, click the Save button. You will be returned to the Members' Role page once again. If all sections of the approval have now been completed by the relevant people, the role will become full. Check the Compass support site for guidance on processes you may now need to complete for recently appointed members.